And it is time to unleash the top 20% of tracks. Here we go, guys. Number 29 we are starting off here. Sorry about that. We have Dino Jungle from Mario Kart Double Dash. Yes, this track very unique in a type of way that no other track really has. You start off with these nice little stumps that could send you flying if you take them the wrong way, and then you got a freaking dinosaur, like an actual real dinosaur that elements into the middle of the track, and he actually forms perfectly with it. You can interact with it. You run into its legs and you spin out, and then you come over here, try and dodge these water geyser sections, and you'll meet up with his head, and if you hit his head, you'll spin out too. But oh my god, that dinosaur is adorable. I mean, not many tracks really have that, where like the name of the track actually plays into your what you're racing on. So I like that track. I like this track because it's very cool, very unique in a sense. You could take 3 different paths on this section with the bridge, depending on the difficulty, depending on how you feel about that. Obviously the yellow path is the easiest, but you could choose to take a longer orange path. And this is a neat little shortcut here. I like this one a lot. You could just cut the mud off and pretty much cut that entire water section off. And then I like this too. This is for those too confident to try and test their skills, test their might, and take the short bridge. Overall, just a really amazing Special Cup track we got over there. Next up, Rainbow Road from Mario Kart DS. Yes, we got another Rainbow Road track here with us. This one is honestly, it's reminiscent of the GameCube one because you got the nice spirals going on and the boost panels everywhere. But this is the part that I like the most. Obviously, I hope everybody likes this part the most. Just this nice little automatic boost panel, anti-gravity, whatever, turnaround thing. I don't know how to describe it, but that's the marvel of it. You can't really describe how amazing the action of what you're going through is. And then you're going through a couple of rings, a couple of turns, so it's just a plain and simple. But then this part right here, these parts really saved the day for this Rainbow Road. Plus the music in this track is utterly gorgeous. And besides that, you have yourself a really great track. I find myself going back to this track quite a lot when playing Mario Kart DS, either when listening to the music or going through those spirals. But going from one Rainbow Road to another, we have the Super Nintendo Rainbow Road. This is from Super Mario Kart, obviously the first Rainbow Road ever. It has absolutely 0 guardrails. The entire road is completely rainbow. It goes from red, orange, yellow, all the way to purple or violet, whatever you want to call it. And on the first lap, it's just like the Bowser's Castles in this game. The first lap, the Thwomps don't do anything, but when you come on the second lap, obviously, they're all on the ground, so, you gotta watch out for those. And the interesting about the Thwomps in this track is that, if you collide into a Thwomp, then you're actually going to spin out, unlike the Thwomps that just stop you in your tracks in the Bowser's Castle. So you definitely want to try not to fall there. It's either falling or hitting into a Thwomp, so it's a lose-lose situation for you. There's a lot of lose situations in this track, but that's what I like about it. It's very difficult. It's a great way to end Super Mario Kart. Next up, number 26, Mushroom Gorge from Mario Kart Wii. This is the original, an original design with the mushroom bounces and the mushroom pads that allow you to do tricks off of them. Honestly, there's been tracks in Mario Kart 7 and Mario Kart 8 that have implemented this mushroom tactic, not as often and not as perfectly as this track, though. This track does these mushrooms the correct way. The mushrooms are pretty much the main gimmick of this track, and then you enter this cave area that looks very good with the crystal shards everywhere hanging from the walls, and then you got green mushrooms that you could choose to drive on or wheelie on. I wouldn't recommend wheeling on it though, because then you could fall off. And you also got this epic gap jump shortcut too. I like that shortcut a lot, because it takes a lot of skill, but at the same time, not really. You just have to make your timing right. So, all in all, coming in Mushroom Gorge, it's a great Mushroom Cup track, which is why the theming of this track is mushrooms. And then this is the other path as well. You can take a shortcut by hugging the wall over there, but I've never managed to do it. It's not that hard though. You could try it for yourselves. Next up, 25. People might be a little shocked to see this on the list because in my last 2 series, this has been in the top 10 tracks of all time. But this is moving down to 25 simply because I keep thinking about the Mario Kart Wii version of this track and not the GBA version of this track, when in reality this track, you know, it's not as good as the Mario Kart Wii remake in my opinion, but that's just my opinion because Mario Kart Wii is just an overall better game. But anyways, this track is very short. You know, I like it for that. It's unique from the other Bowser's Castles because the flooring in the background is blue and purple instead of for, you know, orange and yellow like the other Bowser's Castles. And you got this epic shortcut here you could do. You don't even need a mushroom if you use a character with a lot of speed, but I think if you're using Toad or something like that, like I used for the time trial, then you might need a mushroom because he doesn't have that much speed with him. And we also have number 24. This is Thwomp Ruins, another top 10, top 5 track, I believe, in the top 136 when Mario Kart 8 first came out. That was because Mario Kart 8 first came out, and this was like a week after, so I had to rank Thwomp Ruins high because it was new. I really liked the track a lot. I still do, as you could see. Top 24. That's nothing to sneeze about. Like, let's be real here. And you know, you got a couple of nice anti-gravity sections. You're entering in an anti-gravity section here. I don't understand why this has to be anti-gravity. I mean, it's hardly a slope, but you know, I'll take it anyway. You could spin move off to your opponents for you know, greater speed. And the Thwomps, I wish the Thwomps were a little more, you know, distracting. I wish they were like more in your way instead of for out of the way like that. I mean, they are huge, but they're not you know, they're not interfering because everyone just takes the inside path. And then I totally just missed the trick on that shortcut here. You got another awesome shortcut that you should always take, no matter, you know, whether you're playing online or just a time trial or something. You should always take that shortcut. And then this section only opens up on the 3rd lap where you can actually take the glider and move on. Overall, I mean, the track is just really great. So, you know, you have to commend it for that. 23, Mario Raceway. For those of you who really like Mario Kart 64, I am sorry. This is the last Mario Kart 64 track you will see on this list. Yes, Mario Raceway is my favorite Mario Kart 64 track. There you go. You got that going for yourselves. But that's all I have to say there. There's no Mario Kart 64 track after this. This track just brings back a lot of nostalgia to me. That's why it's always up here. You know, you got the green pipe doing everything when you go through it, and then you know you're about to finish the lap, and I failed on that hill shortcut over there. This track also has a lot of room for shortcuts, and I like that a lot. And the one thing, you know, the reason this track is up here is because it has like the greatest shortcut of all time. You could jump over you could jump over that wall and pretty much skip over half the track. I mean, how cool is that? You know, you go from a track that already has a lot of grass shortcuts to having one of the most broken shortcuts in all of Mario Kart. Oh, you can't just say anymore. You can't say anymore. Next up, we have Bowser Castle for Mario Kart DS. Yes, it's not called Bowser's Castle. There's no apostrophe S. It's just Bowser Castle. But anyways, I should say. This track is elegantly designed. Obviously, you got this nice reverse turnaround thing that, you know, makes it difficult when doing 50cc because you can't, you know, you could hardly face up against it. And then you got a little spiral hill there. And this is very unique. You got like this spear pillar here that's rotating, and you have to stay on it in order to take the shorter path to the you know, to these blocks here. If you fall off, then you have to take a much longer route, and it's very tedious. But thankfully, if you're semi decent at Mario Kart DS, it's not too hard to get by it. So, you know, going into Bowser's face, that's always been a staple since the GameCube version, and this track just honestly never ceases to amaze me with the fiery background. And, you know, falling off into this grass area, it's a little boring, that section right here. But, you know, that's kind of like your consequence per se for failing to make it on the to stay alive on the rotating platform. But regardless, moving on to 21, as I just said with mentioned Bowser's Castle for the GameCube, we are on Bowser's Castle for the GameCube. And every time I play this track, you know, whether it's looking out the background and thinking that, you know, the trees remind me of the trees from Luigi's Mansion, or just going around and trying to listen to this epic soundtrack, you know, there's just something about this course that is always so stunning to me. And, you know, you got this spiral hill again, which I would say is probably the least entertaining part of the track. But then you enter through, you're going with the rotating fire bars, or they're not bars, but, you know, whatever you want to call them. And you're going down. The arrows actually have angry eyes and all that kind of stuff. And you're going down the hill, and then you get to the main course where you get this giant Mecha Bowser throwing fireballs, and that's going to become a staple throughout, you know, Mario Kart Wii and Mario Kart 8, where he interacts with you and all that kind of stuff. And then, you know, you could take this hill or this jump For some reason, I missed the jump. I don't know why. I thought I had enough speed going into that jump, but you know what? Whatever, with the lightning effects in the background and the Bowser's face that you're going into and the purple lava and everything, my God, what an amazing track! You can't really get better than that. But we're moving on to 20 anyway. Ranked number 20. People may not like this track for its difficulty, but I like this track a lot, especially with the music and then the Lakitus on the wall. Dragon Driftway, which appeared in the first Mario Kart 8 DLC pack in November 2014 from the Egg Cup. It was fun. I enjoyed this track a lot when, you know, playing on 150cc. This track actually really gets much harder when you're playing on 200cc because you have to take so much advantage of your brake drifting. And it's extremely difficult because if you're using a vehicle that doesn't have a sharp turn, then you are in for a surprise, because, you know, this track may seem, you know, pretty nice and all that, but it's complete anti-gravity except for this one straightaway. That's it. Everything else is anti-gravity. You can try and use one mushroom to cut off these two grass cuts. Much easier on 200cc, and you could also cut off the last grass patch to try and get a edge on your opponents. And the track design entering a dragon's head instead of for like a Bowser face, for example, just very unique, very elegant. I like the track a lot. Moving on to Grumble Volcano. This has always been a nostalgia track for me. I like this a lot, you know, for the amount of stuff you could do on this track and the, you know, the amount of entertainment improvised. It's just always been a great track. I've enjoyed playing online on this track and everything, and it's just really, it's a really amazing track. I just, you know, it's hard to describe it further. You know, it's not like a typical Bowser's Castle where it's just themed around lava and, you know, the fireballs and anything like that. It's actually got like broken bricks, like question mark blocks, and the bricks from Super Mario Bros. And pipes. So it really looks like a rundown episode, World 6 level from, you know, a Super Mario game turned into a racetrack. The rock to the left of the starting line, you could, you know, if you manage to get on it, you could turn around and get a glitch out of it and make laps counts and finish before 20 seconds. And then that is also an epic shortcut right there. Nearly made my top 10 shortcuts of all time list, but, you know, it's just it's a little hard. For some reason I find it hard to do. But we're moving on to Rainbow Road from Mario Kart 7. I have this put on 2x speed because, you know, it's a 1-lap track and it takes almost 2 minutes to complete. I'm not going to be talking 2 minutes about this track, even though I could, because it's super beautiful and really, really just a stunning track. This is some people's favorite tracks of all time. I've watched quite a few lists, and quite a few of them actually have Rainbow Road from Mario Kart 7 as their #1 favorite track of all time, and I could see that, honestly. You know, you got this great shortcut over here that you have to be careful about. I've never been too great at it because I've always never landed in the spot I wanted to land on, and that was an epic fail. As you can see, if you don't make all the way that wavy jump, just like the Mario Kart Wii Rainbow Road, you have to land on the moon earlier, and the moon, you know, it's fun and all, but if you have to be on it for too long, it's not, you know, it gets a little boring because you're not actually on Rainbow Road. And that's the thing, you're not completely on a Rainbow Road the whole time. It's more of an adventure, it's more of a journey. You make it to the end. At this point, from here on out, you see the sun, and then you're pretty much just trying to make your way to the finish line. And that's about it for Rainbow Road. Gorgeous soundtrack. I think the best soundtrack, one of the best soundtracks in the entire Mario Kart history with that music. Oh my God. But moving on to another Mario Kart 7 track, Maka Wuhu. People won't, I think a lot of people like Rainbow Road better than Maka Wuhu Mario Kart 7, but for me, or Wuhu Mountain Loop for you PAL players out there. But for me, it's not just the glitch that makes this game great. Again, it's that time trial bias, because I always like the time trial on this track, even though it's the glitch version. Some people may not like the glitch, but I think the glitch, you know, provides, you know, a little extra skill to the game. You have to land in the water at like a perfect time and land right about where I am right now, so you can finish the lap in about, you know, 20 seconds. But you know, you got some boulders to dodge and everything, just the sunset in the background, and again the music. I'm telling you, music is a factor in ranking these tracks. You know, if you don't like the music you're listening to, how are you gonna enjoy the track? I really like the track a lot. So look at this, you know, this is the start. This is where we started from. If you cross it, you're not gonna finish. That's a little odd, because you actually have to go down and end up over here. Is an alternate finish line that'll actually finish the track. So there's actually the starting line and the different line finish line are different from each other, but for some reason they're interconnected at the same time, but the same path. And just like that is how the glitch works. You end up deep into the water like that and try and get a boost from when you land there. Get a trick boost from that ramp, and then boom, finish the lap in 13 seconds. What a great glitch. Makes me want to time trial that track all the time. But we're moving on to the last track of the video, number 16, rank 16, Super Bell Subway from Mario Kart 8, the DLC Pack 2 Super Bell Cup. Man, oh man, I did not think I was gonna enjoy this track. When I first saw it, it didn't seem that great. But after I played it, I was like, oh my god, this is one of my favorite tracks ever. As you saw in my DLC pack, like top DLC pack 2 content, which is somewhere on my channel. It's buried under a lot of videos, but the name is obviously a ploy of Super Bowl Sunday, in case you guys didn't know. At least that's what we think. That's what my brother came up with, and I was like, oh my god, he's actually right. Super Bell Subway, Super Bowl Sunday. I'm not sure if Nintendo did that on purpose. I'm sure they did, because you can't really they could have made Super Bell anything, but they decided to go with a Subway because it rhymes with Sunday. But it's not just the name that makes this track great. It's just the amount of alternate paths that can allow you to avoid the trains, or if you just want to take the main path, which is faster, and you could try and beat the trains out, just like that, or the subways I should say, because it is a subway station, and just like that, you're moving on to the people cheering you in the background, and you could take a couple shortcuts, and bam, you got Super Bowl Subway. I almost said Super Bowl Sunday. But anyways, that is it. Thank you guys for watching 29 through 16. This was episode 9 of the list. I was stuttering a lot because it's early morning actually this time when I'm waking up. So it's kind of hard to talk right now. But look forward to the top 15 tracks of all time, the last episode in the series. I know you don't want to miss that. So make sure you like and subscribe.